Okay, hey everybody, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm just gonna give a few minutes. My husband just came home, so the dogs were barking like crazy. So, everybody can just stay muted for right now. I give usually about 5 minutes just so people can get on. Let me send out my other email reminder real quick. Let's see. Send. Send now. Okay, so that is sent. So just kind of a recap from yesterday. So if everyone did their homework, I am sorry, I totally forgot to record yesterday. So I am currently recording now for day 2, and I will redo day 1. I think sometime tomorrow I will redo that. So organizing your finances, kind of homework assignment was printing out bank statements for about 30 days. You can do like 10/1 to 11/1. Then the second part was writing down every monthly expense that you have currently, excluding debts, because we're doing that today. And basically that was meaning like, what do you pay for your garbage, your Netflix account, any of those subscriptions that you have coming through, you were supposed to write those down. And you can use your debts, your bank statements for those 30 days to kind of help you figure that out. Then the third thing was writing down your monthly salary plus your spouse's or partner. If you guys aren't married, then technically your debt isn't combined yet. Unless you do plan on getting married, then your debt will become their debt and vice versa. So you might as well talk about it now and just kind of get it over with. But you want to see what your salaries are. What is the income that is coming into your account every single month? And this is like other things, if you have investments or royalties or something else coming in, or like an Airbnb that gets paid in monthly or this coming month of January, then add that. That is income that is coming towards you. And then the last step, number 4, was talking about your emergency savings and what exactly you are going to use as your safe, comfortable number with your spouse for keeping an emergency savings. Now, this is for emergencies only. Like, for example, we had to use ours when my father recently passed away. Hop on a plane with a family of 5. Tickets were expensive, can, spur of the moment, fly all the way there and take 2 weeks off to kind of do that. So really your emergency savings means straight liquid cash that you can get like directly to your account. You don't want to have to wait 3 business days like a high interest yield savings like I have, or investments or something like that if you cannot liquidate it fast enough. Oh, hey, Carrie, I see that you're on. Okay. So for us, I think in the beginning, truthfully, it was like 5 years ago, so I can't remember now, but I think it was like 8,000 we kept in for emergencies. Dave Ramsey says about like 1,000, but I think a good comfortable number is 5,000 to keep in your emergency savings. But that's my opinion. Everybody has to talk to their spouse and see what they feel comfortable with. Like if you don't have any money in savings at all, then at least you want to start there first and just get like $100 or $200 in your emergency savings that you have for cash and emergencies. So then you're not going to be wanting to use your credit card as a backup for safety. Okay, so that was all about day 1. Again, forgot to hit record, so I'm sorry, but I will re-record that so other people can rewatch it again, because I see another person's on that wasn't here yesterday. So just want to make sure everybody has the opportunity for me to go over those things in more detail. So that is day 1. Day 2 today is all about creating your debt snowball. And I'm super excited to jump in, but real quick, before I do, I want to recommend this book to you. It is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I don't know if that's reversed when you see it, but I just got this on Amazon for like $5. You can get your library, anything like that. This is a huge mindset shift piece book, and it's such an easy read, and he has really great stories in here too that is like eye-opening, and you're like, oh my gosh, like yes, like this is exactly how I feel. So if you can, I highly recommend you read that book. It literally would probably only take you like 2 days. It's really that good. So that's something that I wanted to say real quick. But now we're going to get into it, and we're going to go right into creating your debt snowball. So if you did last night's homework, a kind of assignment, then you should have the gist of kind of some things about what you're looking at. Now, the first thing that you're going to do, I already have it typed here. So number 1 is you're going to write down every single debt that you have except your mortgage. Okay, so except your mortgage, because your mortgage is, has equity in it and everything, so we don't really count that. As it still is debt, but it's not consumer debt. It's not things that you were just like buying to purchase, like going to Starbucks a million times and putting on a credit card or doing a shopping spree or, buying a motorcycle, things like that. So you're gonna write down all of these debts. So this can take a while. And this is why I left this for a whole day as kind of the steps, because depending on how many credit cards you have or loans or whatever, you have to log into all these different accounts. And I want to give you everything up front so you know what to do, because I didn't have anybody to kind of guide us like this. And it took a lot longer because I would like log into one account, only look up one thing, and then go back like days later and realize I needed these other pieces of information. So I'm just going to tell you everything that you need right now. So say, for example, you have a Lowe's credit card from a washer and dryer, like that's what we had. Okay, you're going to log into that Lowe's account. You're going to write down, like Lowe's and maybe like the last four numbers of, say, example, like the debt. And then you're going to write down not what you're currently paying as a monthly minimum payment, but what is required. So, like there's not an option, like you can't pay $0. You can, but then, you'll have issues. But what is like the minimum requirement? So most will say like $20 or $25 is like the minimum requirement for this loan at this time, or payment. So that's what you want to write down, is what is that minimum payment? Because that's going to really help us when we get to the next step, when we're talking about actually making that snowball. And then the last thing that you're going to need is the total amount that you owe. So for us, I think it was like, for our washer and dryer, we only had probably like maybe 1,200, 1,700 left on our Lowe's account. Sorry, I'm putting my golden retriever right here. And so I logged into that account. I think our minimum was like $20. And then we owed like $1,800 left on that washer and dryer. So you're going to write down all those different things, like the title of it, like Lowe's credit card, maybe the last four numbers of that account or that credit card number, what the minimum payment is. And then you are going to write down the total that you owe. Okay, so that's just writing down all the debt. So now what I want you to do is I want you to do that for every single debt that you owe. So now think about credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans that you have from family or things like that, like personal loans. Medical bills is a huge one. I know huge one is medical bills. I know we still had a few of smaller ones, but medical bills, I can give you a really great tip on medical bills. So I know I have known people that have gotten like kids in NICU and things like that, because I used to work as a NICU nurse. And some of those bills can be astronomical and can get people really behind. What the best thing to do is to call the number at the bottom of the bill and negotiate with them about a minimum. Be like, hey, I'm trying to pay off my debt and get on a plan right now. This one's kind of really high up on my list. Say it's like you owe like $8,000 and this is going to be higher up on your list. You could be like, so I'm really trying to put all my money towards those lower debts so I can get to this one. Can I pay $10 a month for the next until this one comes up? Because so then you don't have to pay as much, and just talk to them, make a plan with them. So then they know like you're still putting money towards it, even though it's a super small amount. They're not attacking you with like credit collars or anything like that. You're just trying to negotiate. You can even try to say, hey, I can't even pay that much. I can only pay 100. Say if it's like a $200 bill and you can only pay 100, you can call them and say, hey, I really can't pay 200, but I can pay 100. And you know what? Some of the times when I did that, they would accept it. They would be like, okay, well, some money is better than no money at all about not paying. So those are really great tricks with medical bills, especially. Credit cards, student loans, obviously you can't do that, but medical bills is one where you can try to negotiate and just be clear and concise and just be like, hey, I don't have this much at this time, but I do have this. Can I give you this? And then we can just call it quits and like close the account. And that's what you always want to ask too, is you always want to ask if you can just close out the account. That way, nothing else can be spent on there. Like you get it in writing, that person's name, the date that you close the account, or a confirming email stating that the account has been paid in full and it is closed. You want that. And I'm gonna show you how to put that into a binder. I think, what day did I do that? As step by, I think step day 4. Day 4, we're doing that. I'm showing you some of my old binders and how I organized and kept track of some of those once they were paid off, and how I track them to make sure they were closed, make sure nothing else funky kind of came up after, because they do try and get you on those things. So that is super important too. Okay, so now once you have all of those debts, I can't find the notepad that I had done this on already. Believe me, my house is like a disaster after Christmas right now. Okay, but anyways, I'll show you another picture after. I'll find it. It's like on a smaller one. But basically, these can be out of order, okay? Your debts can kind of be like this, okay? I kind of just put them in certain columns the way I was looking them up. This is just like an example. I call them John and Sally. And then this is like the description of the card, exactly what I was saying, minimum payment, and then the total amount owed, okay? So what you're gonna do is once you're gonna write all that out, don't even look at like interest rates at all. That is a number one thing. Don't want to look at interest rates. This is a different method and it works better because we try to do it the other way and there's no motivation, there's no momentum to get things going. So it can be really hard. But this one is really great. So don't look at the interest rates, just write down the minimum payment and the amount you owe. You're gonna write that all down. Now, the next step is we're gonna do it from smallest to largest debt. So no matter what you have. So for my example on here, for John and Sally, their lowest debt was $240, and I wrote it as a Discover credit card. So now you're gonna write that one up at the top. So you're gonna have like a whole new page, and you're gonna rewrite these and from smallest to largest. And that's exactly what you're gonna do. So now everything's gonna be mixed up. So it's not gonna be like in order of like credit cards, debts, medical bills, whatever. It's all gonna be mixed up because you're literally only looking at the total amount owed from smallest to largest. That's how you're gonna organize this next paper. So that's the second step. And that's what you're gonna do for that step. So basically, this is like the same step, just one is like writing everything down, and then the second step is organizing it. So let me write that down. Organizing debts from smallest to largest. I think too, another mindset piece about this that I really struggled with is I had a guesstimate of how much we owed, but because they're all in other accounts and you're not seeing it every day on one piece of paper, I was actually really shocked to see how much we actually owed when I added everything up. Because in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, only credit card debt counts, like car loans, student loans, those things don't count. That's not debt, but it is. It is debt. It's consumer debt, debt that I had already paid for and used, and now I have to pay back. So I was really shocked when I added it all up, and it was like $98,000, and I cried. So this part can be tough. I'm not gonna lie. It can be really hard to kind of face all of these numbers and know that this is something that you owe, that you have to pay. It's not going away. And if you're a person banking, like I have a close friend and family member, and I love her dearly, but she's still depending on the government to pay off her student loans for these debt relief programs. And I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Like, if I was still waiting for that, we would still have debt and accruing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of interest. Instead, we paid it off in 22 months and it's gone. And I'm not depending and waiting on the government to pay it off. So I'm sorry, but you used the student loan, you owe the money. So I wouldn't say sit around and just pay it off and just be done with it, because you could be sitting around forever waiting for those debt relief programs. But seeing all these numbers, and once you total it up, now after you went from smallest to largest, you're gonna add it all up and see what your total. And you're just gonna put your total at the bottom about what it is that you owe, every single debt that you can think of for you and your spouse. If you're married, especially, both debts are combined, no matter what. If you were to get a divorce tomorrow, you would literally have to split your debts evenly. Even though if that one person brought 90% of the debt, the other one didn't, doesn't matter. So you might as well treat it as such right now and paying it off. But if you are not together, if you are, just partners, or you're not married yet, technically your debt isn't combined yet, so you don't have to. But I would recommend, if you are getting married, if you're married, everything is the exact same. So you're gonna add up that full total, okay? So now the third part is we're actually talking about snowballing your debt. Debt snowball plan. Okay, so this is the best part. And now hear me out on this. So why we don't look at interest rates is because it is a mindset piece, like 80%. Putting in the work is 20%, but 80% is mindset, about staying motivated and keeping your eyes on like the prize, on the goals, about what you're doing. Because if you start this way, you gain a lot of momentum and you start to feel like a challenge, and it gets really exciting. So for example, there's another type of thing called like snowball avalanche or something, or avalanche method. And that's where you're already looking at the interest rates. But let me tell you, my husband and I tried to do that because he had a student loan with a very high interest rate that his mom took out. I think it was like 12 point something percent on like 25, $30,000. I don't know, it was something insane. But guess what? We tried to put that one first because we're like, oh my gosh, we're paying so much in interest. Well, guess what? We did that for like 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe like a month or two, and we weren't seeing any movement in our debt whatsoever because it wasn't even like touching it, like it wasn't even like affecting that debt at all. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. So then you automatically get demotivated and start making excuses and start swiping your card again. So this is why Dave Ramsey's snowball method works so great, because say, for example, in my example, their lowest credit card is $240. Okay. If you organize everything and you do your zero-based budget, which we're going to talk about tomorrow with your finances, and you get everything aligned, and at the end of the month, say after you put everything in categories, you know what your income is, say you're a salary person, you know the exact income that's coming in, you put everything in categories, and at the end of the month, you have $150 left to put towards an extra debt. Okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to pay, that's why these minimums come in. At the end, say you have like 10 different debts, you're going to put the minimums for every single one. And then whatever extra you have at the end of the month, you're going to throw that all to the lowest debt. So if you already paid the minimum of $25 towards that $250 credit card, $240, whatever the minimum was, and then you have 150 extra, now you have 170 towards that debt. By next month, if you have another 170, it's going to be paid, it's going to be gone. And then basically what you can do is you can just cross the crap out of that debt, highlight it, whatever you want to do. I think I highlighted because it was a good visual for me to see when we crossed it out. Or you can just scratch the crap out of it, write a blue mark. Some people like to do those debt thermometers and they show how much like they're going. And I tried that and I was like, I thought like the numbers were like, our number was so high. I was like, this meter, I don't know what to divide it up by. So I just like crossing everything out. But guess what? All of the next month, once that pays off, you add all that extra money that you're making each month into the next debt. Because now you don't have to pay a minimum payment on that $240 credit card because it's already paid off. Now you take all that extra money, you throw it into the next lowest debt. And because they're lower, because you're starting at a lower number, you see momentum faster. And this is where it becomes like, Dave Ramsey talks about like gazelle intense, because you're getting like excited because you're starting to see movement. Like once you paid off that Discover credit card, like your lowest credit card, whatever it is for you right now, or whatever debt it is for you right now, like once you pay that off, it's gone forever. Like you can cross it off, you ask to close the account, you keep track of it. And hold on, I'm on a call.
Robin, stop. Your chocolate pie is there. Make it up 3 more minutes. And it's not made of.
Okay, all right. I got like 10 more minutes. You can give me 10 more minutes, I can get it for you. Okay?
Okay, I'm gonna be.
Okay, well, why don't you go talk to daddy, because daddy's in the bedroom. Sorry about that. That's my 6-year-old. He really wants chocolate pie right now. Oh my gosh. So now I just like lost my train of thought. Okay, so the debt snowballs, so it becomes exciting. And this is where you want to really start trying to like increase your income. We started to sell things like Facebook Marketplace 5 years ago wasn't really like a big thing yet. Like Craigslist still kind of was. So we had yard sales and then we sold on Craigslist. And we just started whatever we could find, we just like sold. We're like, we don't need that. We can get that brand new later for better quality, since we moved out when we were 18, so we didn't have much. So basically that was like the main thing. So that's really it for creating your debt snowball. If you get a little confused about how it's going to work, I do recommend you also reading the Total Money Makeover book by Dave Ramsey. And here, I'll write it on here. I don't agree with everything in his book, but he does kind of explain this chapter really well about like the debt snowball and how it works. But basically just every payment that you're throwing into it. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. All right, can anybody relate, like, with being a mom and you try to tell them that you're gonna do something? This is why I could never, like, have the kids be at home while I'm working because I would never be able to handle it. They drive me insane. So, apologize, but if you have any questions about, like, the debt snowball, like, method and how it, like, goes into one another and it makes your payments off faster, I can explain in a little bit more detail. You can just email me. But basically, the most important thing is writing down every single debt that you owe, the minimum payment, the amount owed, and then organizing it from smallest to largest. Do not look at interest rates. Don't include your mortgage because that's probably way too big. That's not something that we're focusing on. That's way later. And then just organizing it and then just start tackling it. And I'm gonna show you tomorrow is actually really exciting because we're doing the zero-based budget. Zero-based budget is very different than regular budgets because you're literally showing where every single dollar is gonna go. So you're not confused about where it went. So this is really gonna tie into that. And the easy way to put the debts on here is they ask for the minimum payment and the total amount owed. So that's why I have you write that down. And the app that I sent in the email yesterday, the Every Dollar app, you can download it on your phone. The app is available like on iPads too. I like to do my monthly big budget on the computer because it's bigger. So you can just use it on the website version too. And then your phone for daily tracking and stuff. But you can download it, but do not sign up yet because when you sign up, it's going to help you go over step by step after our video tomorrow. They're really going to help you understand exactly how to input all the information that we talked about from yesterday and today into your zero-based budget. And it will make a lot more sense once we look over and have visuals. And I'll be able to share my screen tomorrow and show you exactly how to input things and how it's going to work and step by step. And we'll do it together. And then that will be your homework for tomorrow night. So for tonight, right after this, I'll do some Q&A real quick, and then I will send you over the checklist so you can have that. But what you're gonna do is first, you're gonna write down all those debts that you have, every single one. So write down all debts along with the minimum monthly payment required and the total amount that you owe, everything except your mortgage. Then organize your debts from smallest to largest. And then your debt snowball plan, just start with that lowest one. And if you have extra money, just throw whatever extra money into the second one. And you're just going 1, 2, 3 from smallest to largest. Don't look at any of the other ones on the bottom yet. Okay, and then you can add up your total. I know it can be a little shell shocker sometimes to see how much you have when it's all in one spot and it's all on paper and you see that total number at the bottom. Can be a little anxiety creating, but telling you like we're gonna get this paid off real quick, gonna make a plan, gonna stick to it, and it's gonna be good. All right, so that's the homework. Let me unmute you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If not, then we're good. And definitely read this book too, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Let me put that one in as well. Oh, did you guys can answer in the chat. Do you guys have any questions? Are you good? And I can just send that email out with the checklist. Just let me know. Oops. Hold on, I'm just trying to type secrets. Secrets. Okay, hold on. What'd you say? No questions. Thank you. Hope to see you tomorrow. My 8th model just went day for the first time. Oh, no worries. Absolutely. Okay. Yay. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to go send out that checklist, and this one's a big one. So I'm excited to hear some of your results and stuff tomorrow, how it went. And I'll see you at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Bye, ladies.